do.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning. Good morning, social media superstars. And when I tell you today we are going to bring the heat, we bringing the heat today. We have Dr. Ed Womack. I'm excited already. We have Dr. Ed Womack on with us this morning, and it's going to be a fantastic social media Saturdays episode. So I hope that you guys are out there, you're watching, and you are ready. So today we are talking about how to make it happen with video. And as I, started to think about this topic, I was just like, you know what? Who else but Dr. Ed Womack from We Rise Media? That's the perfect person for me to have on here to talk about how to make it happen with video. So I hope that you're out there, you're watching. And if you are watching and you're out there and you could hear me and you could see me, Taria, just go ahead and say, Taria, I could hear you, I could see you, and just let me know. I see, so Joyce Lady Joy is out there. Good morning, Joyce Lady Joy. How are you? Lady Joy is in the house this morning. Thank you for jumping on. So just let me know, Lady Joy, if everything is good with the feed, if you could hear us, you could see us, and we will be ready to rock and roll. So if this is your first time tuning in to a Social Media Saturdays episode, I am your host, Taria Hodge, and I'm the founder of Social Media Saturdays. And what Social Media Saturdays is an online broadcast platform dedicated to showing entrepreneurs, business owners, business professionals how to leverage the power of social media in their business, okay? And today I'm super excited because we have our special guest, none other than Dr. Ed Womack of We Rise Media and the Man Rise Up movement. So I'm super excited. But before we get into this morning's content, we have to do a couple of things here on the show in true Social Media Saturdays fashion. So if you're out there and you are watching, I want to know who is out there with me this morning. So if you're out there, you're watching, just go ahead and drop a comment in the feed and let us know that we are here. And then once you're letting us know that you're tuning in, you're watching, let us know where you are watching from. So this is one of the exciting things that I get to do on Social Media Saturdays is to find out and learn, where our audience, is, and it's so pretty cool and so amazing that we have people all around the world that tunes in and watches Social Media Saturdays, right? So if you are in the DMV, so I have to give my Maryland, DC, Virginia peeps some love. I am still in the DMV. So if you are in the DMV, just go ahead and let me know that, Taria, I am watching from the DMV. So, and also if you are hailing from across the US, just go ahead and let us know what city, what state you are watching from. We definitely love to know where you are watching from. And then also, if you are hailing from the Caribbean, I say that all the time, I'm a good old island girl, and I always get excited when I have, viewers tuning in from the Virgin Islands, tuning in from the Caribbean, Jamaica, Trinidad, all over. So if you are hailing from the Caribbean, just go ahead and drop me a line and then let me know what island you are watching from. So I am super duper excited. So Ed, before we get into the meat and potatoes, I'm going to go ahead and let you do some shout outs also, because I see that we have Stephanie Smith has jumped in and joined us. We have Sharon Hudgens back. Sharon is on. Good morning. Sharon says good morning. We have Michael Scott. Michael Scott is out there and he's watching. Good morning to you, Michael Scott. So Ed, on your side, any shout outs from you?
Absolutely, absolutely. As always, Sister Queen Lady Joy is in the building. Sister Queen Sharon Huggins Beck, the best executive assistant on the planet, is up in here. And we gonna break the internet today, y'all. And I think we need to make certain that if you haven't already done so. I know Taria's going to get to this, but go ahead and share this with about 5, 10, 15, 20, heck, 50 people that you know might need some help with their video comfort level and some of the things to prepare them. So, man, I'm super duper excited as well, Taria. So let's get into it with the housekeeping, and then let's roll, like you say, to the meat and potatoes, girl.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. And I do have to shout out all the members out there that are watching from the E Network. So if you're out there and you are watching from the E Network, just go ahead and let me know, okay, that you're part of the E Network. If we have any Black CEO members out there, I had the opportunity to be on the morning show. So if you're part of Black CEO, just go ahead and just let me know, hey, we're in the house, okay? Now, this is so interesting, Ed, because it's like I want to jump right into the content, right? But I want to make sure that we stay in the order of the things, how we do things here at Social Media Saturday. So I really don't want to shortchange anyone this week, okay? But one of the things that I'm going to ask, like Ed says, one of the things that I'm going to ask you to do, so if you're out there and you're watching, okay, and you're thinking, you know what, I want to do videos, I see a lot of things, going on with videos, and I just don't know where to start, okay? So that might be you, you might not know where to start, or you have started doing videos for your business, but you're kind of a little bit shy because you're saying to yourself, well, I'm doing this activity, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So I'm doing these activities, but you really don't know what to measure. Like when you set out to do videos, you really haven't set your goals for your videos. What do you want to accomplish with your videos? So that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. And then also, what kind of support do you need, okay, when it comes to adding video marketing into your business as a strategy? So do you have all the tools? Do you have all the resources that would allow you to have a successful strategy when it comes to video in your marketing? So once again, we're talking about that today. So if that's you, I want you to go ahead and just share, what one of your challenge or some of your challenge are. You could put it in a comment section so we can know, so we can make sure that we are addressing, your comments or your questions as we go through the broadcast. So as you guys know, when we do Social Media Saturdays, it's a very interactive broadcast. We're following the feed, we're watching the feed, we're looking for comments, we're looking for questions, because this is a place, if you're an entrepreneur, business owner, business professional, this is a place that you come to, okay, that you could get all your questions answered as it pertains to putting together a real strategy for social media in your business. Now, like Ed said, if you know somebody else, if you have a colleague, okay, you have a team member that could definitely benefit from this information, I want you to go ahead and share this broadcast out. So take a minute and share the broadcast out. Okay. And then last but not least, what I'm going to also ask you to do, if you're out there, please drop us a note or a line in the comment section and let us know how you serve in your business, okay? So that's one of the things that we're also big here, is building the community. And I love it. I love my superstars. That's what I call the members of my community, my social media superstars, okay? So we always want to know who's out there, who do you serve in your business, and how do you serve in your business? And I ask people to do this every episode. Why? Because people are on here, they're watching, and it might be people that you could connect with to help you grow your business, whether they become a strategic partner, or they become a client, or they become a referral partner. And we're going to talk a little bit about strategic partnerships, right? Because Ed, we have a pretty cool story to kind of share today about that, and being intentional with the relationships that you build. Okay. So very, very excited about that. But just go ahead, make sure that you put it in the comment section, who you serve in your business, a line about how you serve. So we want to know what you do. Okay. And then also put the link to your Facebook business page in the comment section below.
So Taria, they are coming up in here. We got a few additional people that have joined us. Sister Queen Crystal Thomas out of Savannah, Georgia.
Good morning, Crystal.
Is up in here, up in here. Brother King, Coach Garthion, Teach One Muhammad is in the building, building. We've got Lottie E. Elias is up in here. Brother King Terrence Leffridge, Coach Unstoppable out of the windy city. Man, they coming on up in here. Sister Queen, hold on, wait a minute. Tracy Robinson Ankra, I'm not sure if that's a male or a female, but Royal One, welcome to Social Media Superstar. They coming on up in here, Taria, and I see a few folk that have said hashtag shared, meaning that they are picking up the housekeeping that we are putting down.
Wonderful. Okay, so without any further ado, I'm going to take a minute to introduce our special guest. Okay, so today I'm super excited to host Dr. Ed Womack of We Rise Media. Say that 3 times fast. Consulting services, and he's also the producer of the game show and Setback Survivors. So I have to say this, I've actually known Dr. Ed Womack now for probably about 4 or 5 years. And one of the things that I absolutely admired is when he launched his brand, the Man Rise Up brand, but he actually came out with the show, the Setback Survivors. And one of the things that really stood out for me is just how consistent he was, with the show, and not just being consistent in showing up, but consistent and having an awesome production. So if you guys have ever had the opportunity to join Dr. Ed Womack, on one of his broadcasts, you will see that it's top-notch production, like every single time. So I said, you know what? I have one of these days, I have to have him on so he could talk a little bit more about how you could do that and how you can build up your camera confidence, and show up. Okay. So once again, Dr. Ed Womack, he's known as the Urban Leader Strategist, and he's hailing out of Atlanta, Georgia. And what I love about Dr. Ed Womack, he has this thing that he says, and I actually believe it, if I rise and you rise, we all rise. Hence, We Rise Media. So Dr. Ed, I'm going to turn it over to you so you could share a little bit more with our audience about what you do before we get into our content today, how to make it happen with video.
Absolutely. And, Taria, first and foremost, I as well am super duper over the top excited about today's broadcast because, as you stated, our motto is when we rise, when I rise and you rise, we rise. And so having the opportunity to be able to be on this platform that I've been following for a while now, and like you said, we've been friends and connected for over 4 years, but watching the evolution that is taking place, the growth and the comfort level. And so one of the things that we do at We Rise Media is try to make people, whether they're being interviewed or if they're actually putting on a production, to feel comfortable. And so today I just want to say hats off to being so courageous, so consistent yourself in the social media Saturdays. I've learned and continue to learn a ton, and today will be no different, I promise. And so we're just really, really excited for those authors, those entrepreneurs, those small business owners that may be on the fence, maybe not quite sure how to get into things. And today's topic matter, as we chop it up, I tell you, get a pen, get a paper, get your digital tool of recording, because it's going down up in here today. And when you walk away, I promise you, you're going to feel so much more enlightened and have some immediate action steps that you can take to incorporate into your overall presence and your content delivery as it relates to video. So Taria, I'm pumped up, fired up, and ready to go. Let's do this, girlfriend.
And you just reminded me, okay? So let me just say this. For those of you who are watching, okay, and you would like to get the notes of today's episode, okay, just go ahead and take a minute to type the word notes into the comment section. So one of the things that I absolutely love and admire about our superstars is that every week they are diligently taking the notes into the comment section. And I absolutely love that. So one of the things that I do is that I go back, okay? And I've compiled the notes into a nice little PDF. So every episode of Social Media Saturdays, you will be able to get a note sheet, okay? And then the hopes is, you print these things out and get like a 3-ring binder or folder, or even if you don't want to, partake in the slaughter of trees, okay? Make sure that you make sure that you save it in a folder. So as you continue to build out your marketing plan, and as you continue to add these strategies, okay, these things into your plan, you would be able to reference back to your notes as well. So if you would like to receive the notes from today's episode, make sure that you type the word notes into the comment section. And I see that Terrence Lethbridge, he's already went ahead and signed up, to get his notes. So make sure you guys type the word notes into the comment section, and then your notes will be delivered to you via your messenger inbox within, I say 48 hours, 24 to 48 hours, okay? So why are we talking about video marketing, okay? So here's one of the things that, that I've learned, since I've been doing the show, and I've been actually doing the show over 5 years. And it's one of those things that I always tell people, like, I didn't start out intentionally to do Social Media Saturdays because, I wanted to be on camera. It's kind of funny how life works, right? One of the things that I work with in my business is to help entrepreneurs in the space of webinars, okay? And so one of the things is just like, well, oh my gosh, after you set up a webinar platform once or twice, you get the hang of it, right? It's technology, you practice it or you do certain steps over and over, then it writes to memory. But what I had to come and understand, there was a whole lot of other things that go along with video marketing. So I said, you know what? I have to find out what is it that people really struggle with when it comes to producing videos. Or at the time, it was webinars. So when I started Social Media Saturdays actually started out as a webinar platform, a live webinar platform. Okay, and we would go through like the whole process of setting up the registration page, having people register, setting out the email sequencing, and all of that stuff. Right. And so I really had to, I wanted to know, what was the struggle? Okay. And that's how I started Social Media Saturdays. Now, 5 years later, Social Media Saturdays, with technology, has evolved into a Facebook Live platform. Okay. And I have to say, using Facebook Live, gives me the opportunity, to do the videos quicker. Okay, but I'm going to share with you some of the drawbacks today with just using a Facebook Live strategy, and how you could incorporate some other things to give more life to your Facebook Live videos. Okay, and we're also going to talk about a little bit more about what video content to use for which platform and what will be best. But one of the key things that I want people to take away was that like I said, it's been 5 years since I've been doing the show. And one of the things that I have to say is that I was not that person, who would, get all excited about being, on camera. So I'm not like Dr. Ed. Dr. Ed, you say camera, he like, where? Me, really not so much, right? But it's something that I really understood. So I understood by incorporating videos into my marketing strategy, one of the things that I had the opportunity to do was create stronger relationships with my audience. Okay, so if that's you and you're looking for ways out there that you could go ahead and build those relationships with your audience, connect more with your followers, I'm going to tell you, video is the way for you to be able to do that. And one of the things that I love about doing videos is that it increases your credibility, and it almost puts you in the place of becoming an instant authority. Okay, so video is one of the quickest ways that you're able to share your expertise in the marketplace. Okay, so that's why I really started to pay attention to video marketing. And one of my dear friends, Dakisha Williams, my business bestie, she reminded me last week when I had the opportunity to speak on the Black CEO Morning Show that yes, there was a time that I would do videos, like get this guys, I would do videos, but you would never see me on camera. I would never turn the camera on, okay? And I would always do a screen share. And it was so funny, she says, because I've been watching and I've been following your videos for almost a year before I met you in person. And she said to me, she said, I just thought that you, and imagine she's my business bestie, so I can say this. I thought that you was fat and ugly. That's why you would turn the camera on, right? But it's not that. You know, once again, it's a little bit about camera confidence. And I understand that, you know, some people are really shy, Ed, okay?
Yeah.
And they have a hard time, you know, turning on the camera. There's a lot of stuff, not just the technical stuff, but there's a lot of stuff, you know, that goes on, you know, mentally, psychologically, when it comes to doing videos, okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Now, Ed, I'm also going to ask you to share with us a little bit about how you got started in the video space and in the media space.
Absolutely. You know, and contrary to popular belief, and I'm guilty as charged. I haven't met a camera yet that I do not like. So I'm just going to go on record and say, okay, guilty. But it wasn't just the fact of wanting to be on camera, as you mentioned, and as we're going to chop up later on today. There's a lot that goes into it, but what really piqued my interest, and I haven't shared this very often publicly, and what drives me in really being so committed to the media, the video space, it actually started way, 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 way back when I was a little tyke, when my dad actually began to try and serve other people. After he got off work, he would want to start a company. He did start a company called EMW Video Productions, God rest his soul. And at the time, I really didn't embrace what he was really trying to do at the time. But what I do recall was the elation that would come across people's face when you properly capture the essence of whatever the event is, be it a wedding, be it a birthday, be it a anniversary party, be it an author book signing. When you see that light come on for them and they began to really be able to go in and say, wow, that was me. That's what really and truly drives the mission of We Rise Media and why we're so conscious of making sure that not only do we show up, but we make certain that when others are there, they feel comfortable in doing so. I've had I can't tell you how many people I've interviewed and they say to me, well, I don't really want to come on camera, or I don't feel comfortable. And I said, roll with me. I got you. And it's a matter of that confidence and making them feel like, you know, really, really welcomed. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that, but what drives the whole We Rise Media, my desire to be in front of the camera, is not just the glamour and the glitz of it. There's a method to the madness, and being able to really touch people in a way that you create indelible memories, because once it's in video, it's out there forever.
Yes.
So that's the beautiful thing about what we do, Taria. And again, I just am really excited to share some of the additional back end stuff that we do in order to properly prepare to be on video and to do it in a way that is going to attract to our target audience, be able to make them be engaged. So we're going to have an amazing time today. So y'all better go ahead and swipe and share up in here. And I see several people that are popping in. And I want to just do a couple of quick shout outs. Sister Queen, Speak Life is in the building. One of our constant Super Saturday or social media superstars, Sister Queen Apostle Gloria is in the building.
Good morning, Apostle Gloria.
Sister Queen Edeline Francois Dryden is in the building from Black CEO. So they coming on up in here. But yeah, we're going to have a ball today, Taria.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited, and one of the things that I absolutely love that you shared, and it comes through when you do your videos and you have your guest on your platform, you could tell even if they started off nervous. I mean, you can't really tell that they started off nervous, but you could absolutely tell, you know, the confidence and the security that they feel because I'm telling you, talking with you, watching you, it all goes away from them, and then you give them the opportunity to shine through the videos. Okay. So a couple of things you know we're going to talk about is at what does it really take for people to get ready to put in into place a video marketing into their strategy. Okay.
Yep.
So you know there's four things, and you could feel free, you know, to add on more. But the four things that I thought about as I was putting this content together is number one, planning out your content. Okay, so that's something that I find that a lot of people really struggle with, is that they say, oh my gosh, you know, what do I share when it comes to video? Okay, so when I turn my camera on, what am I sharing? Okay, we talked a little bit before about the mindset. Okay, Ed is going to touch a little bit today about the equipment. And then one of the things that I found was really critical, you know, especially for me and social media Saturdays as the brand, is to begin with the end in mind. And so when I say begin with the end in mind, right, this is what I mean. How are you going to repurpose your videos? Or even before you get to the repurpose, when you put your videos out there, okay, are you intentional? Do you know what the goals are that you have set aside or put in place when you put out video content? So have you given that some thought? Okay, and then once again, how to extend the life of your videos. So that's what I talk about all the time. I like to call it, you know, extending the video life, because a lot of times, you know, we think that when we do a video, you know, we're so focused on getting it done. Okay, it's like I just want to get through it.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, but how do you come back and make the most out of that content? So we're going to share a little bit about that today. Okay, so Ed, any other things that you could think of that it would take for people to build up their camera confidence? Did I miss anything, or do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think the collection of topics that you pulled together is spot on. And I think one of the things that is really, really critical that you have to start with is if I could, I want to kind of blend the first two that you put out there, which is mindset and content planning, because I think it's critical, as you've oftentimes shared very transparently. You know, it's not something that used to be, and a keyword on used to be, easy for you to just get on camera. And that's a universal problem. The majority of people don't feel comfortable standing up and speaking, let alone coming on camera. I got to believe the numbers are even more staggering. And so I think the first thing that any of us need to get over is that, you know what? If I am really and truly committed to what it is that I'm providing as a service in the marketplace, committed to the mission that I have, that you have to clearly put in your own mind, I can do this. Act like the little engine that could. I know I can. I know I can. I know I can. Because what we tell ourselves is oftentimes what will manifest in our ultimate presentation, in our ultimate delivery. And so I think when we get to start looking at peeling the covers back, first it becomes a thought process. I can do this. I know I can. I know I can. And so for those of you that are note takers, put it down inside the feed. If you happen to be somewhat hesitant or reserved, just start to tell yourself today, and that's going to be your very first step. I know I can. I know I can. Get in the thought process and the comfort level mentally that you can. When people tell me, hey, I don't know if I can go on camera, or I don't feel comfortable hearing my voice, I have to share a quick story about one of our hosts on the network who, when I first met them, they said, well, I don't really like the sound of my voice. I said, oh, okay. And being that person that was conscious and saw the opportunity, I said, well, did you ever consider that the voice that you don't like could very well be the key to save somebody else's life, to help bring them up out of a particular transition, could be the key to actually establish you as an expert. Contrary to what we think, because we're oftentimes our worst critics, and that self-doubt will keep us from going forth and just taking that first step. So I think, Taria, that's one of the first steps of the four beautiful topics that you put together, is we got to get it right in between our two ears and our own mind. Hey, I can do this. I know I know I can.
And one of the things, Ed, like just to touch on the mindset piece, okay, one of the things that I absolutely, love to share with clients and people is like, sometimes you just have to kind of, remove yourself, out of the equation. Sometimes we just kind of stand in our own way, okay? And then if you start to think about, what, this isn't really for me. So I think a lot of times that we process things, from our viewpoint, but you're absolutely correct. It's not for you. It's for the people that you are called to help. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, once I adapted that mindset, because it's a mindset shift. Okay. Yep. Once I adapted that mindset, I absolutely, like feel funny now, like when I don't turn the camera on Saturday.
Come on now.
Okay? It's like I actually feel like I'm letting people down, and let me not turn the camera on a Saturday. They flood the inbox. Are you okay? Is everything, okay. And I had to really say like, oh, wow, so, even though I might have, I still get nervous. I'm not going to tell anybody. I would never make, that pretense and say that I don't get nervous. It's like 5 years and I still have butterflies. I have butterflies right now.
But you know what, Taria? The butterflies keep us humble, keep us grounded. Because I have to admit, there are occasions where I do as well even get nervous. And what happens is, after I get to that point where, like you said, that we know that there are people that are relying upon us to deliver, to show up. And I'm reminded of a quote by Les Brown. He says, don't let what you want to say get in the way of what your target audience needs to hear. And as you're developing that mindset, that again, don't let what you think of yourself, don't let the limitations that you sometimes impose upon yourself get in the way of what your people are looking for. And I too have witnessed, that situation where on occasion I may have an event or I may not even feel well, and people began to reach out, say, hey, you okay? Where you at? That's when you know that you're really making an impact. That's when you know that there are people that are relying upon you. That's when you know that you are heading in the right direction. So let yourself know, hey, there's people out there that are relying upon what I provide in the marketplace. And no matter how small you may think it is, it could be the breakthrough or the serious
somebody else, right?
Somebody else. Yeah.
Okay. And I see that Tracy Robinson Ankara, and I hope I'm not butchering your name, Tracy. Is it Ankara? Said, I have heard that so many times. Somebody is waiting on you to show up. That gives me the chills to know that there is someone waiting for me to help them. Yes, this is why, okay, we are part of what we call a special group of people called entrepreneurs, okay, because we understand that we have a purpose and we were giving abilities, talents, and gifts. I said that backwards because it's tag, talents, abilities, and gifts. I got that from Dr. Ed. And the first time I heard it, I said, wow, we all have a tag, okay? So talents, abilities, and gifts. And the world is waiting for us to share, okay, what we have to offer. So, and I see Dr. Apostle Gloria is out there. She says persistence is key. Terrence is watching. Thank you, Terrence, for jumping on and joining. Okay. So what I want to move into, okay, there's a lot of questions about what type of video is right for each social media platform. Okay. So we're going to share, and we're going to talk a little bit about that because yes, absolutely. There's so many different social media platforms out there. And I'm a big proponent, and I tell people, right, it's like the best way when you are developing your social media strategy is to pick a network or pick a platform or pick two at the most that you're really going to focus on, okay? And then you develop that platform. And as you get your strategy down pat, you're able to handle that, and that's running smoothly, then you could go ahead and then you could add on another platform. Now, that doesn't mean that you still don't, participate or share content on the other platforms, right? You can, but there's a way, that you absolutely go ahead and do that, okay? So one of the things I wanted to share with this, there was a report that came out, right? That says, do you know that 100 million hours of videos are consumed every day on Facebook? 100 million hours of video.
Wow.
Okay, is being consumed on Facebook on a daily basis. And then out of that, 8 billion daily video views. Okay. And so that is really telling you, something, okay, that people, your audience out there, the preferred method, for most to consume content is through video content, because people are really consuming videos. So what does that mean for you as the entrepreneur? What does that mean for you as the marketer? Okay. And how do you produce, the right type of content for each platform? Now, I don't know how many of you are out there, you're on Instagram, but Instagram has now also upped their game, okay, on video. So they recently came out with their IGTV, and I haven't started using IGTV as yet, okay? But I'm pretty excited, to go ahead and get started with it, okay? So you can do live videos on Instagram. You could utilize IGTV, and then you could also post, short 1-minute videos on Instagram, okay? So once again, you have to know what type of videos fit for what platform. Now, one of the things that I absolutely love about doing the videos on Facebook is that Facebook has that interaction, okay, that connection factor. Like once you turn your camera on, just like how we're doing now, people are on the feed, okay, and they're dropping their comments in real time. So you have the ability to see and answer questions, get feedback, and just engage and support and bring value to your audience, okay? And so that's why one of the reasons why I think that Facebook is absolutely killing it with the Facebook Live videos. So for me, just to share, I'm just letting my thought process out and a little bit behind my strategy. I prefer, to start with the videos on Facebook, doing the Facebook Live, and we'll talk a little bit more about this. But one of the things that I know, if I start with my content there, I could source that video for other types of content that will be shared across other social media platforms.
So, Taria, one thing I also want to add to that, because you nailed it. And I think because what we're talking about is part of the content planning segment of the agenda that we put together today. And I think it's critical for those of you that are sitting out there, for myself and Taria as well, as we begin to try to establish ourselves and be in front of our ideal client. It's key to know, where do our ideal clients hang out? If you're a younger organization, or your products and services serve a younger community, and this is not 100% foolproof, but chances are, if you serve a younger population, IG is where they hang out at. If you serve a more mature audience or a different type of mindset, chances are it might be Facebook. But I love what Taria said. Pick two, go through and evaluate what it is and what your responses are, because what I found is that both Facebook and Instagram are really ratcheting it up. And now that Facebook has bought Instagram, they're really beginning to align the capabilities that are available to you. So as you go through that planning and you begin to understand, okay, well, where are the people that are waiting on you? Hanging out. Are they on IG? Are they on Facebook? And one of the things I've learned in working with Taria is that you have to really be very meticulous and very conscious of understanding where your ideal client, where the people that are waiting for the service or product that you provide are hanging out, and then prepare yourself to show up amazingly when you find that out.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Okay, and so that's a perfect segue, Dr. Ed, into how to show up amazingly. Okay, so I want to ask you to share with us, just a little bit, okay, of some of the things that you might need as far as, equipment. Okay, so one of the first things, going back to the content before I let Ed jump into the equipment piece, okay, is to make sure that you are really giving your content some thought. Okay, so once again, when you start to develop your video marketing strategy, do you, have you written it out? Okay, have you pulled out your content calendar and you said, you know what, these are the things that I'm going to talk about, and you're actually being intentional? Like, that's my word, you're actually being intentional, okay, on setting those things, on the calendar. Because if I'm telling you, if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't happen for me. Okay, so it needs to be on the calendar. You need to give it thought. Okay, but the planning goes into it. Okay, and one of the things that I, because I'm not the just turn your camera on and go. I see some people are out there, they're brilliant, with that. Okay, they could just, be driving in a car. I've never done a live video in the car before, right? They're just driving in a car. Oh man, I'll be so scared. They're just driving in a car, and then boom, a thought hits them, and they said, you know what, I'm going to turn on my camera. And then you watch them, they're driving and they're really dropping some good stuff,
Yep.
And for me, I was just like, oh my gosh, like, they got all that head stuff. No, I need to plan out my content. I need to make sure that I have all my bullet points.
You know what, Taria, and you make a good point. In a comparison, even for those that are listening in for our social media superstars this week, don't necessarily look to the left, look to the right to see, well, who's doing what. Find your right mix as you're planning. Like you said, you have to write it out. You're one of those people that you need every bullet point, you need your content, but there's others that do impromptu speaking. But be careful with that, because one of the things with regard to the planning, if you just show up and just have random thoughts all the time, that can be a little frustrating for your followers. But everybody has a random epiphany. And so on occasion, after you've already really nurtured and developed a relationship, you can be a little more liberal with the just random pop-up things. But if you're just getting started, you need to and want to establish credibility. You want to establish yourself as an expert, establish an expectation for those that are waiting on you. And so with that, don't be afraid to try new things, but also don't just spew for no reason. Have a clear reason as to why you're actually going live. And does it align with your ultimate products, your services, and give your value to the people that are trying to follow you? So I just wanted to add that in there, because
that was perfect.
Yeah.
And I see that lady, no, it's Terrence. Terrence is out there teasing me. Terrence is like, what are you waiting on, Taria? Taria Car Live. I can see it. Yeah, okay.
I'm not a big fan of car videos. I did one. I'm really not a big fan of car videos. One, it's a safety issue. So if you're going to do lives, be safe in your car, be safe. If you're going to do it in your car, be safe. I can't stress that enough. And in Georgia, they just started this new no hands or hands-free law. You can't even touch your phone. And so it forced me to get one of those mounts. In my car. We're going to talk about some equipment stuff. But when you're doing that, be live, whether you're live or stationary somewhere else or in a car, be conscious of the wobble. I call it the video wobble.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I was just like, I just had the vision, Terrence. So I'm playing in to Terrence now, okay? And you know how it is sometimes when you get really excited about a topic, and you're going in on that topic. What if my foot just like hit the gas,
Right.
Like, a little harder, and then the Facebook Live turns into a whole different type of videos, because now you got the blue and the reds.
yeah. How about it? And even you get distracted and possibly, like I said, be safe if anything. And like last weekend, I tried out my new gadget as I was riding to Tampa, but I was on a long stretch of road where there was very little, if any, traffic in the direction that I was going, because I'm very conscious of being safe first and foremost. And so while I was going though, and then the other thing, when you're mobile like that, you have to also be concerned with the consistency of your internet connection, because
Right.
we're live. It depends on that, and that's part of the conversation we're going to have about equipment and what are some of the things you need to do to be properly prepared to show up amazing. But yeah, I thought that was just something, you know, as you're figuring out, okay, am I going to be stationary?
Right.
Am I going to be driving? And also, this is one of my biggest pet peeves, and then we're going to move into equipment as you move us through the flow, Taria. But if you have on logoed information, so let's say you have a branded T-shirt, a lot of times when you are showing, people are watching. And so one of the things you need to be conscious of is if you have on a logoed shirt and you're really trying to promote that logoed shirt, it needs to show up straight. nothing.
Oh yes, the reverse.
Yeah, when it's reversed. And a lot of times when we're on our phones, which a lot of people use, and it's perfectly fine, if you use your phone, but just be conscious, if you're using your phone and you have on logo material, on iPhones, you can actually flip it so that it will show up correctly. On Androids, I'm not sure if they fixed it just yet, but there's a setting where you can flip so you show up forward. Why is that important? If your followers are looking at you and they're paying more attention to the fact that you're backwards than they are the content that's coming out of your mouth, then your message for that moment is not as effective. So just a pointer or something, since we've thrown it down for you guys in a way that we very rarely do here on this social media Saturday, just keep that in mind. If you don't show up if you're going to show up amazing, show up straight.
Not in reverse, right?
Not in reverse.
Okay, so I want to jump into the equipment portion of it, right? Because equipment is something that people ask me about all the time. Okay, so the thing that I'm going to kick off the equipment system with, people ask me all the time, like, well, Taria, what do you use, or what are some of the platforms that I could use to use social do lives? And I'm or do videos, right? And so I'm just going to share, as you guys could see, it's big and broad right there on the screen. I'm using Zoom. Okay. Now, here's absolutely why I love Zoom. For you guys out there, if you are a beginner, okay, and you're not really ready yet to do live video, you could use a video platform like Zoom, okay, which would allow you to do a recording, okay? So you could absolutely record, you know, on Zoom, okay, and it's just you. Okay, and then after you do a couple of takes and you get the perfect video, then you could always share that video. Zoom gives you the ability to do things like full-on videos like we're doing now. It also gives you the opportunity to screen capture, and that's what I absolutely love about it. So you can do the screen capture. So even if you are doing a PowerPoint, maybe you want to do a presentation, okay, and you have a PowerPoint presentation, you could do a full-on PowerPoint presentation, or you could even do an in-picture, okay, presentation. So that's my preferred method. And I'll just share this. When I started using Facebook Live, one of the issues that I absolutely had was my internet connection wasn't strong enough to do it from my phone. So my feed would drop all the time. Okay. And I said, well, you know, there has to be a better way. And so I started researching platforms. Another platform out there that does really well, okay, is your BeLive, okay, and BeLive has that integration with Facebook Live as well. YouTube. Before any Facebook Live and before Zoom, I actually used to do my videos on YouTube, okay? So YouTube has a video, of course, a video capability, not just to upload videos on YouTube, but they have YouTube live streaming service as well. So you could do videos on YouTube, you could stream on YouTube, stream live. So if you know your audience is out there on YouTube and that's where you want to be, you could definitely do live videos on YouTube as well. And YouTube gives you the same ability to screen share. So you could screen share using YouTube Live, and then you could also share things like a PowerPoint as well. Okay, so that's like one of the biggest questions that I get. Like, what are some of the platforms, okay, that you could use to do videos? And I see Terrence is out there. Terrence says Be Live TV. He loves Be Live. And Terrence, I love Be Live too, but here's the thing. I love Be Live, okay? I love the capabilities that you have with Be Live to do the branding. You could bring people on just like how Ed and I are on. I love the feature in Be Live, and I hope Zoom gets it. So if you're out there, you know, Zoom. Okay. I love the fact that if you're in interview mode and you are sharing nuggets, like all the comments here, you could pin certain things, you know, on your video in Be Live. I love that. Here's the thing that really kind of bummed me out on Be Live. Be Live didn't work for me either. So once again, having a strong internet connection, and that's part of the equipment, okay? So I tried Be Live, and for the life of me, my videos were like so grainy, so choppy. They had a bad lag time, and it was just because of the internet. So that's another thing. If you're out there, you're going to do videos, especially if you're doing live videos, you want to make sure, like Ed said, that you have a strong internet connection. And then a lot of times it might mean that you don't use your Wi-Fi, you hardwire into your computer or your laptop, you know, with that Ethernet cable.
So Taria, if I could jump in there just a moment. It's like double dutching. You're just dropping so much amazingness from a platform perspective. And I think one of the big things that you did hit on, and I want to just put a little extra meat on it because we're in the meat and potatoes section of the social media setting. So right. Extra meat on the bone. The biggest, most important element of trying to go live with video is your internet connection. A couple of things to point out for the superstars that are in the house is if you have residential internet, chances are that's not going to be adequate. Chances are if you just have residential DSL or any of the standard residential packages, that's usually used for just merely browsing and reviewing content. And when you're doing just browsing, you're downloading. And so without getting too technical, one key thing that you need to understand is when you're doing video, you're uploading. So I say hashtag upload. So with your internet connection, it has to have a very strong upload number. Now there's a link, and we'll share the link with you where you can actually do a speed test if you're stationary or if you're on a wired or a base connection. If you're on a hotspot, which is a totally different technology, if you really are about it and you know you might go live any place, like with WeRise, I literally have what I call my wallet in my pocket. So I take my internet with me. And as long as I have a strong signal, usually you don't experience the choppiness. If you're one that's been experiencing choppiness in your videos, 99.9% of the time, it's your internet connection that's the cause for that. And so we'll share with you guys in the notes and in the feed some speed tests. But again, if you just have basic residential service, you probably don't have the right upload. Upload is the key. It needs to be at least at 3, or you're going to have issues with your video quality.
Okay, and thank you for that, Ed. So once again, Ed just made a great reminder. If you're watching, okay, and like any of this is like really standing out for you, like I said, you're on here because you're either thinking about incorporating videos into your market strategy, or you're already doing that and you want to know how to get better at it. Make sure that you type the word notes into the comment section so you can get the notes, okay? So once again, you'll get the notes within the next 24 to 48 hours. All you have to do is just type the word notes into the comment section, and those notes will be delivered to you via Facebook Messenger. Okay. Yep. So Ed, just go ahead and share with us a little bit more about equipment.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, wow, I can't believe it's already like 50 minutes past the hour. Where did the time go? Oh my goodness.
And see, but
So
this is the great part about having your own show.
there you go.
When you
There
have
you
your
go.
own show.
Excellent. Exactly. Exactly. Because we got two more key topics I think we want to touch on. So real quick, just to touch on some of the additional equipment things or considerations that one might want to have. As you can see, Taria and I both are showing up adequate this morning. Pretty amazing, like I think you might agree. And if you agree, just go ahead and put hashtag amazing in the bottom for us, just so that we know that we believe what we believe is what you are seeing. But your camera or your equipment, super duper easy these days to just go live on your phone. Most of the smartphones, the mainstream smartphones, do awesome with video. However, one key thing is light, y'all. Light, y'all. You've heard the term lights, camera, action. Okay, without light, your action and your camera ain't gonna show up optimal. Lights, y'all is super duper important. Even if you're outside and you're doing a live, one main misconception a lot of people have is if I'm pointing facing the sun, my video should be better. No. You're actually going to degrade your video. So I call it the spin test. When I'm doing a live, before I ever hit the live button, I literally will walk in a circle to make sure that my picture shows up, not walk, but I'll turn in a circle to make sure that the angles that I'm having are going to allow me to show up appropriately. That's a top secret, y'all. Everybody don't know that one. Everybody don't know that one. So don't
Right.
that
I
when
like
you're
that, the spin
facing,
test.
yeah, the spin test. I call it the spin test because that enables the people that are watching you to know, hey, they took the time as part of their planning to actually make sure they were positioned in a way that they're going to show up amazing. If you're stationary, you might want, and you do regular broadcasts such as social media Saturdays or such as the game show or you have some sort of consistent presence, make the minimal investment in your camera, The camera I'm using right now, one of the cameras I'm using right now, I've had for about 4 years. It's called the Logitech C920, one of the best investments I ever made. And it costs right now, it's probably less than $60. So if you know you're going to be on constantly, get you a camera, get you a tripod to go with it. Ain't nothing like the shakies. The shakies will make your viewers nauseous and they won't be able to focus on your content. So if you are the people that don't have a steady hand or something to prop your phone or your camera against that is stationary, invest in a tripod. Tripods are super duper cheap. They probably cost less than what you spend on lunch, I promise you, and you can get a really good one.
Okay. Let me just jump in, Ed, before we move on, right?
Yep.
I want to share this, okay? Because this is so critical. And what you're talking about is absolutely true, okay? So definitely you need to have, a camera. And get an external camera. I'm using the Logitech C920 that Ed mentioned as well. But this is what I also want to share as it goes back to the lighting, okay? So sometimes people will say, well, you need to get a cowboy lighting kit or a box lighting kit, right? And then you might probably go and research, those things. And depending on where you are in your budget, if you could go ahead and get the box lighting kit, not just your budget, but even in the space where you're going to do the videos, okay? Because when you get the box lighting kit, there's a whole bunch of stuff that comes inside the kit, okay? So, I mean, if you really have a space, like in your home where you're setting up to do videos and everything, then you could set up that space and that once again, it goes back to being prepared, okay? So you could have that space set up, stage, so whenever you're ready to do videos, you're not worried about all of that, because those are the things that make people, I work with clients all the time doing videos. Those are the things that make them flustered, okay? The setup, the oh my gosh, and every week, you're in a different place, okay? So if you can, it's something that you're going to be doing on a consistent basis, then you want to make sure that you have a designated area and you have all of your equipment. Now, here's the thing. I have actually 2 ring lights, okay? So I have a ring light. You can't see the first one because the first one is actually above the computer. So even though I have a lighting kit, I have another light that's attached, okay, to the desk to give me that extra light. Once again, I know I'm chocolate and all of that stuff, but my complexion, is a little bit darker. Okay, so I need a little bit of the extra light. If you are doing videos from your cell phone. I hope the light is not blinding anyone. You want to make sure that you, I'll turn the light off, that you invest in one of these little bad boys right here. So this is a ring light.
Ring lights are awesome.
That you could get for your cell phone. And when I tell you, I think I probably paid like about $12. I'm not sure if it was 10, but I know it was no more than $12. Okay.
Yeah.
For the ring light. And the ring light, it just sits right on top of your cell phone, okay? And it gives you that additional light. So if you are doing videos from your cell phone and you find that it's a little bit dark, you might want to invest in a cell phone ring light, okay? Now, I also have a big tripod, okay, because my daddy too, and love to take pictures, okay? So yeah, guys, I kind of took my daddy's camera and I kind of took his tripod, right? But that's what daughters do, okay? So I do have a big standing tripod that if I'm ever out, okay, and I know that I'm going to do a video, okay, I take my big standing tripod and I could set my Logitech C920 right on top of the tripod. So where normally the big camera would go, I could put my Logitech C920. It has that attachment on the bottom that allows me to do that, okay?
Which is universal. That attachment that Taria's talking about is universal. And so with that tripod, and there's a couple, and like with anything, there's different products all the way ranging from the ring light all the way up to the big cowboy set. But also with the tripods, likewise, there's the big boys, but then they've even got these desktop ones that are flexible.
Yeah, like the one that I have.
Damn, look at that. Yeah. We didn't plan that. Damn. You better go, girl.
Yeah. So this is a desktop tripod, okay? Yep. And then once again, you could either set your cell phone, you know, on there, okay, to give you that stability that, and there's another piece. I don't know what my other piece is, you know, right now at the moment. But there's another piece that you could actually attach like the cell phone holder. And then there's also the adapter that you could put your Logitech C920 on it as well. Okay. So it doesn't have to be hard. These things are like very inexpensive. I think I paid like $10 for the flexi tripod from Wawa. I didn't even go to like Best Buy or anything. I just saw it in Wawa and I was just like, ooh, I'm gonna grab that.
And the connectors, and this is really important for you guys to understand. Like, I know a lot of people have selfie sticks. Coach T was one of the first persons I saw with a selfie stick, and the little holder that comes on the top of it, that connector in the bottom is universal, guys. So those little different attachments, just play with them. Take them, unscrew them, see if they'll fit on your tripod. Like Taria stated, she can put her big boss camera on the tripod. She can put her C920 on there. And if you have the selfie connector, it's the exact same connector. When I walk around someplace, I'm like Inspector Gadget. I got all kinds of stuff in my bag, but it's really reasonably expensive so that you can show up amazing. And we're gonna have to do some additional deeper sessions, but wow, the equipment is really powerful to stabilize yourself, because if you're shaking, it's really difficult for people to stay focused on your amazing content.
Yeah, and so this is why we're spending a little bit of time talking about equipment, because the equipment, you know, allows you once again, you know, to be able to repurpose your videos. Okay, so once you find that you have a really great video, not only is the content that you're sharing in your video, thebomb.com, right? The video looks good and you're super duper proud to share the video. I can't tell you how many times I've heard, you know, people say this, I've heard clients say this, oh, wow, you know, I did a video, I know the content was good, but I don't like the video.
Right.
Okay. So start off. Yeah. And so once they don't like the video, here's how this plays out. And I have to say, even for me too. Okay. So sometimes I might do a video and then I look at the video quality, right? And I'm just like, oh man, you know, I can't, you know, turn around and use that any other place, you know? So make sure that you have the right equipment. So not only you're delivering great content, but you're also showing up stellar, you know, like Ed said, you show up and you show up great. And it gives you more confidence now, okay? That you could say, well, okay, now that I've done this video, I've done the Facebook Live video. Now, where else can I put this video? Can I put this video on my blog? Okay, can I take and I put this video on YouTube? You know, can I definitely edit? And we're going to talk a little bit about editing. Can I go ahead and edit the video and chop it up into smaller segments? So now that my YouTube audience, right? Because this is one of the things I found. I found that people on YouTube don't really consume, you know, content, you know, hours at a time.
Right.
When people look at YouTube, they're usually looking at how to do something. Okay, how to do something. And I know I use YouTube like every day. Like YouTube is like my go-to directory. How to, okay? And how do I pick the videos that I want to watch? Man, if you more than 7 minutes.
Forget about it. and I think that's huge.
You gotta say what you gotta say real quick. You better do that demonstration for me real quick, okay?
Real quick.
So I could get it, because the chances are, if I'm looking at something, you know, I'm looking up something on YouTube, it usually means that I'm in the middle of doing something and I'm stuck and I need help. Now I need to go ahead and get some, you know, research or have someone show me how to do something, and then I go over to YouTube quickly. Okay, so it's different, once again, different formats. So after you do these Facebook Lives, right, do you have the right editing software that would allow you to break the videos down into segmented clips? Okay, so I'll just share with you 3 softwares, you know, that I use. One of the newer ones that I came across this week that was recommended to me by actually one of my clients actually recommended, is called InShot, right? And one of the things that we started to look at InShot and talk about InShot, and guys, if you want to get this, you know, please type notes in the comment section. Okay, I promise you we're going to put the links in there. Okay, so one of the things with Facebook, right? And I can't believe that Facebook and Instagram haven't figured this out as yet. It's like I'm waiting. So Mr. D, if you're listening, I'm talking directly to you. Get it. Right? So a lot of times when we stream on platforms like Zoom, we take a wide angle. Okay, but to get your videos on Instagram, they need to be that vertical video. Okay, so yeah, I'm just like, okay, what's going on here? So someone actually shared with me that there's an editor that would allow me to convert my widescreen videos into that vertical video that would allow me to place it now on Instagram. Okay, so I thought that that was very hot. Okay, so I'm currently researching InShot. You know, there's software that would allow you to download your Facebook Live videos, okay, and save them to your phone, and then you could do easy and quick edits, you know, right there on your phone. So if you're like a phone person and you do everything, you know, like from your mobile, okay, you could do that and you don't have to worry. There's software. InShot is one of them. If you're using a desktop editor, one of my favorite desktop editors is Camtasia, you know, and I started out using Camtasia, oh my gosh, I have to say years ago. And let me tell you, I'm not saying all of this to say like I'm a video specialist, I went to school for videography. No, I didn't do any of that. But Camtasia was super easy, you know, for me to use. And it allowed me to do simple things like cutting videos, editing videos, you know, adding that intro, outro, you know, to your videos and giving you a really professional look. So once again, you want to make sure that you're starting with a really good video, you know, as the core, and then you could always come back, you know, with your editing software and then repurpose that video.
Yeah, I love what I want to shout out a actual comment that Coach Terrence says is start small in your equipment purchases, then build up. And so with all the beautiful information and the valuable information that we're sharing this week on social media Saturdays, don't be overwhelmed. Start small, and it's a process, y'all. And you can always just start small and grow from there. Certainly just get started. My good friend Shamir Mallard offered an amazing broadcast this week. And one of the key words that he mentioned were get started. No matter where you're at, just get started. You don't have to be great to start, but you got to start to be great. And so just get started right where you at. Don't take and get the notes. Get the notes. If you haven't already put notes inside of the feed, I promise you, I look forward to getting the notes every week. And if on the occasion that I can't watch Social Media Saturdays live, I promise you, I go in. It's a part of my normal routine to get the notes and watch the replay of Social Media Saturdays. This platform is just amazing, and it just keeps getting gooder and gooder and gooder.
Yes, absolutely amazing. Also, I was about to say something too. How many of you out there, right, are doing blogs? If you are currently writing a blog on a consistent basis, okay, just go ahead and put a 1 into the comment section. And Ed, how are we on time?
We are a little bit beyond. We are currently at 11:09. I'm good, but we are at 11:09, but I'm good because this is awesome. I think you're about to get into the repurpose piece, which I think is critical on our list of topics. We might even have to do a part 2 and 3.
Yeah.
This is amazing. You're not gonna be able to get rid of me now. No, I'm kidding.
Well, no. This is the thing, right? It is a hot topic, okay? Because you know, the video is so hot, and
Yeah.
we have people like really want to know, okay, how do I do this? Like I think one of the worst feelings when it comes to social media is like you're doing a whole bunch of activity, right? And then you don't see the return, and it ties it back into the goals, okay? And so you know, as you start planning out your content, one of the things that I like, you know, to have people keep in mind, like when you do your video, like what's your goal? Are you doing that to just build up brand awareness? Okay, so I share with people, that's what Social Media Saturdays is the opportunity, you know, for me to build up the brand awareness and also to show value. Okay, so all the things that people ask me, you know, during the week, people inbox me, they send me emails, they text message me, you know, and I'm a firm believer, like if you see or you hear the same question more than 3 times, okay, then there are more people out there that have the same question, and they just haven't found you to ask you yet. So it's your opportunity to be proactive, okay?
So Taria, if I could, I want to bring you back because you were about to talk about the significance of blog. And I don't want to let us get out of here. I want you to circle back to that one as it relates to that thought process. And how does blogging, where you were about to go, for those, you asked the question, how many people actually blog? And I am as well get really excited and move. But when we talk about repurposing video content, the question was, how many people actually blog? And I know the response, but I wanted you to share that with the superstars and go into that one. So
yeah, and I see that Audrey out there. Audrey raised her hand and she says that she does blog. so here's the thing that like I'm going to share with you. Okay, so writing, you know, comes naturally to some people, right? Yep. And other people's not so much.
Not so much.
So if you are out there, okay, and it might not be just your writing skills, it might just be the time, okay, that you have to sit down and go into that thought process, okay? So one of the things that I absolutely love that you could do is that you could repurpose your videos, okay? Now here's the really cool thing, like when you are doing videos, especially you're doing those videos on YouTube, or even if you're doing your videos through Facebook Live, they both give you the opportunity to grab what we call an embed code, okay? And then you could put that embed code on your website, okay? So if you have people going to your website, which people do go to our websites, a lot of times you don't know people are checking out our websites, but they do, right? So they go to your website. It's a great way for you to showcase your video content. So make sure that you are putting your video content, okay, on your blog. Okay, so make sure that you're doing that, and you can simply do that by just grabbing the embed code and doing that. Also, another thing that you could do that works really well, you could go ahead and transcribe your video. Okay, you could get your video transcribed. There are services out there. One of the ones that we use is called G.A.M.E, right? And you could just go ahead, G.A.M.E, that's T-E-M-I. Once again, if you want to get the notes, okay, just go ahead, type notes, all right, and then you'll get all the links, right? But you could use G.A.M.E, and what G.A.M.E will do for very inexpensive, let me just say that again, very inexpensive.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's like, what, 10 cents
10 cents a minute.
10 cents a minute. Let me just say that again. It's 10 cents a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Powerful, powerful stuff. And
right.
relative to your normal transcription services of old, it's about $1 a minute. And G.A.M.E is amazing.
Yeah, so 10 cents a minute will allow you, okay, to get your videos transcribed, and with a little editing, okay, you can now turn that into, matter of fact, let me just say this, here's how cool that really is. A video like this ad, when I get back a G.A.M.E transcription, it's usually probably about 10 pages.
Yep.
Okay, you could turn around and take that, and that could be 3 or 4 blog posts for you. Okay. Another thing, we're super excited that we're getting ready to launch the Social Media Saturdays podcast. Okay, and that's launching in September. Yeah. So I started off last year, 2017, right, trying to do a podcast for Social Media Saturdays. Well, it didn't work. Right. So now we are revisiting the idea. Okay. So next month, we're launching the Social Media Saturdays podcast. So one of the things that you can do, okay, you can take your videos, okay, and take the audios from the videos. And then now you have the opportunity to push that audio content, you know, out to platforms such as Anchor. You use Anchor. Anchor gives you the ability, once you sign up with Anchor, once again, Anchor is free, okay, Anchor FM, okay, get Anchor FM, and Anchor FM will push your podcast, okay, out to 8 different platforms, okay. The same thing if you're using SoundCloud. You're using SoundCloud, I think SoundCloud automatically pushes your audio content or your podcast out to 6 different platforms. So guys, when we talk about showing up, and we talk about showing up powerfully, and you hear like some of the big names like the Gary V, you know, and all of those other, you know, people, and you see them everywhere. Okay. You know, and you're saying, oh my gosh, you know, it takes $1 million, you know, and I'm not saying, and I'm not downplaying, okay, that they don't put money, you know, behind their content. Okay. But this is a great way for you to get started and get started where you are. So we're doing this, and we're showing you or sharing with you that there are things that you could do, okay, that would allow you to take the one little action that you're taking, which is starting with your video, and then creating content that you could put on other platforms. So audio podcasts, you know, podcast is making a comeback.
Big time, big time. And you know, and it's funny because there's different modes of learning for your target audience. Mm-hmm. Some people, as Taria said, if it's more than 5 or 6 minutes, forget about it. They're not stopping. They're not going to look at it. Mm-hmm. There's others that like to read. There's others that while in the car or at the gym will pop in an audio. So having that ability to repurpose in multiple formats, all this start from a single video, which is our main topic for today, is how do you show up amazing? How do you plan for that? How do you go through the process of knowing what is your ultimate goal, but also get to that point where you realize, wait a minute, through my single effort of getting started. Yeah. So remember, hashtag get started. And you got, as we talk today, several different outputs that enable you to show up amazing.
Okay, and Apostle Gloria says, yes, she is using Anchor. Tracy says, great ideas, love it. And yes, thank you, Tracy. Rev is another one that you could use for transcription, video transcription. So thank you for sharing that with us. I'll definitely add it to the note list. And I think the last thing that I really want to touch on before we close it out today, and I really love you guys, okay, because thank you so much for hanging in there. I know usually we try to keep Social Media Saturdays to an hour, okay,
Right.
but thank you for hanging in. This is the one thing that I want to absolutely share with everyone today, and it goes back to taking some time to plan out your content, especially if you're doing videos, okay, or Facebook Live videos.
Yep.
Make sure that you give yourself enough opportunity to promote your lives. Now, Ed, I'm going to say this. One of the things that I find that a lot of people really get frustrated about is when they turn on the camera and no one shows up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And so, you know, there's a thing of, you know, us kind of like measuring ourselves against each other. And
Yeah.
sometimes we're not taking into consideration, you know, the length of time someone, you know, has been doing videos to build up their audience.
Exactly.
Okay? That's number one. Okay. Or you know, what other stuff they have going on the background. So when they do turn on their camera, you know, the audience shows up. Okay, because it could be a little intimidating.
Yep.
When you know, you turn on your camera, you put all of these things in place, and then you're there, and sometimes it's like crickets, or you have one or two people, you know, that's on there, you know, and that's a reality. What that does is it forces some people to kind of shrink. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm here to share with you, don't shrink. Don't let that shrink you, okay? You have to keep going with a little, you know, effort and planning and preparation. So one of the things that you guys will notice that I do with Social Media Saturdays, I make a big production out of it. I really do. I get graphics created. I create an event around it. I invite people, you know, people share it out. You get a messenger reminder, you get an email, everything. Okay. Why? Because number one, it's not that I want the attention on me, but I want, you know, as much people as I can get to receive the information. Once again, is value, and I'm here to serve. Okay.
Yeah. So Taria, could I jump in there real quick? Because I want to talk to that person that may be guilty of looking at the numbers and allowing that lack or that expansion of number to determine how they deliver. One of the key things in showing up amazing is be amazing if there's 1 or 1,000 that show up. You know, because you never know who's going to watch the replay. You never know who's going to listen to that podcast. You never know who's going to read that blog that comes as a result of that amazing video that you put out there. So don't worry about, in fact, I even have to train myself on occasion. Don't even worry about the number. Just continue to do and be amazing in the way that you were destined and purposed to be, regardless. The other night when we were preparing for the webinar, one of the things that we shared with our client was, oh, it's about 10,000 people out there that are all smiling at you. So just do your thing and woo them with your presence, regardless of what it might appear is showing up. And with the algorithms that are out there, like Taria says, it takes time to build your community, to build your presence, but you gotta get started. And don't worry about the little things, because here's the thing. If you know, like I understand it, like Taria knows, if we just impact one person with our message and they get something out of it, that to me makes it worth it. So don't worry about the massive numbers. We do this thing one person at a time. I just wanted to throw that in there, Taria.
Yeah, and you know, and I'm gonna talk a little bit. I'm just gonna go in about 3 minutes, right? Go a little bit deeper. You know, I think I'm gonna end it like really at 11:30, right? So
all right, awesome.
Right? But this point is the point that, you know, from a strategical standpoint, from a strategy standpoint, and I call myself a social media strategist, right? So I'll be remiss if I don't talk to people about the strategy. One of the biggest things that I hear at people say, well, you know, I prefer to do the Facebook Live. They're doing a live as it relates to their brand, right? And their audience, but they don't want to do the lives originating from their Facebook business page. They want to do the lives originating from their personal page because that's where they get most of the attention.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, and I tell people, you know, I started this experiment because before I used to do social media Saturdays just inside my group. Okay, so here it is, you know, when I really understood the power behind this thing, I said, you know what, I have to start originating my videos from the Social Media Saturdays business page, right? And then share back to other properties, and you can do that. Okay, so you could start it on your business page, share back to your group, share back to your personal profile. A couple of things that this is going to do for you. Number one, is going to give you the opportunity to grab your metrics after your video is done. Okay, and what do I mean by metrics? A lot of times people just look at the upfront metrics, which is the likes, the comments, and the shares. Okay, but do you really know who's watching your videos? Do you know if the majority, and not just the videos, that particular video? Because if you go back and you start to look at your insight, you'll see what content resonates with what audience. Okay, so you could tell whether that content piece that you're talking about resonated more with women, the age that they are, the age range, you know, even what city and state, okay, they're in. These are the types of metrics that you get from your business page that you don't get, you know, on your personal page. We're talking about extending the reach of the video. Okay, after you do the video, you have the ability to put $10. It's not a lot, guys, $10, okay, to now get that video in front of more of the right people. Okay, run an ad to it. So like, I really, you know, had to embrace that and be like, oh, wow. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter if one person shows up, I'm going to do it anyway, right? Because I knew I have the opportunity, you know, to extend the life. And that's what we're talking about, extend the life, you know, of the video. And then also you can't do cool things, you know, like on Messenger from your personal Facebook. You have to do that from your business. So once again, you know, just those little things. Okay, so Apostle Gloria is saying, I have more friends on my personal page, over 1,500 followers. Yes, and that's the thing, Apostle Gloria. People would say, well, oh my gosh, I got 5,000 friends on my personal page, and then when I go to my business page only has 200 or 300. But just like everything, Ed, what do you say? Ed has a saying that he says, and it's called bake it, don't microwave it, you know? So a lot of times we're thinking about, you know, these short-term, you know, things, you know, but the strategies and the things that you're putting in place, are they able to help you in the long run? And it takes time. Like when I started doing the videos off of Social Media Saturdays, like I said, I started in the group, I felt the crickets. I was tempted. I was like, oh my God, there's no love over here.
No love. And you know what, Taria? I mean, I'll even, and I know we're rounding things down, but with regard to those analytics and those insights that you can get, it literally is the reason that We Rise Media exists today. Mm-hmm. With Man Rise Up, when I was doing my videos, I realized as I actually went to the analytics that the majority of my following became women. And I said, well, wait a minute. Let me redirect or diversify my offerings. And that literally was a major, major reason why We Rise Media was created. I still serve my kings. I still hope that you guys join the game. I'm grown ass men excelling. But we wanted to make certain that we were listening to what the metrics and the numbers were saying. So those numbers and those insights that you get from your business page are there for a reason, and they help you really over the process of allowing the baking to take place. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for the plug there, Taria. But when you allow the baking to take place appropriately, the result on the back end is pretty delicious, y'all. Don't play, don't play.
Yes, so bake it, don't microwave it, okay? So, oh my gosh, Ed, this has actually absolutely been amazing. I thank you so much for jumping on. You know we're gonna do this again. That's not even asking if we're doing it
Exactly.
again. We are doing this again, okay?
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
I love everyone for jumping on, joining. Please tell the audience, Ed, how they can connect with you.
Absolutely. So real easy, guys. Everything We Rise Media on Facebook, We Rise Media Network, and We Rise Media and Consulting Services on Instagram, We Rise Media. And so that's the best and the desired way as I'm learning to make that transition to be more conscious of the business approach. That's the best way to connect with us. Always DM is a way to get connected as well. And Taria, I'd be remiss if I didn't leave y'all with this. Good, better, best. We can't let it rest until our good is our better and our better is our best.
Yes,
and in order to become an amazing presence in video, all you got to do is just get started. And when you do, boy, stop. We might just see you at the top because the bottom's entirely too crowded. Taria, I thank you. I appreciate you. I can't wait to get the notes and to continuously build and grow with Social Media Saturdays and the Social Media Saturday Superstars.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Ed. And once again, guys, we do this every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. So if you are not part of the Social Media Saturdays community, take a minute to search Social Media Saturdays on Facebook. Okay, join the group, take the minute to like the page. And once you join the group, you like the page, definitely you will get notifications of when we are live. Okay, and like I said, I hope to bring more fabulous speakers, guests on, like Dr. Ed Womack. You rocked it, you killed it. Lady Joy says, great show. Apostle Gloria says, she's not ready to go home yet. She says, more. Terrence says, great job. Gail, thank you, Arthur Gail Fripp, for jumping on and joining us this morning. And once again, guys, thank you so much. And make sure that, type the word notes into the comment section and you will receive your notes within 24 to 48 hours. And with that being said, everyone have a marvelous, fantastic, and safe weekend. Bye-bye.